Let us begin with a topic neural control and coordination. Nervous system is composed of central nervous system and peripheral nervous system as well as an autonomic nervous system. Central nervous system is composed of brain and spinal cord. Brain is made up of 98% of a CNS, remaining 2% of an spinal cord is made up of an central neural system. Brain itself is found in an upper part of the head region. It is a larger and creamish white in color, which is the most complicated organ which is present in our body. Spinal cord, which is present at the base of the brain, it runs throughout the trunk region, ends with that of an affilium terminate. It is a cylindrical in shape as well as it measures about 18 inches. Peripheral neural system, which is composed of an cranial nerves and a spinal nerves. Cranial nerves, which has been originated from the brain, its number is an 12 piece. Spinal nerves, which has been originated from the spinal cord, its number is an 31 piece. Peripheral nervous system is a found of fibers, which includes the afferent fibers as well as an efferent fibers. In case of an afferent fibers, the impulses has been transmitted from an tissue to that of an central nervous system. From an efferent fibers, the impulses has been transmitted from an CNS to that of an tissues. The division of an PNS, which is composed of an somatic nervous system as well as an autonomic nervous system. In somatic nervous system, where the impulses has been transmitted from an CNS to that of an voluntary muscles like an skeletal muscle. Whereas autonomic nervous system, which is composed of sympathetic as well as an parasympathetic nervous system, where the transmission of an impulses from an CNS to that of an involuntary muscles like an smooth muscles. As we know that the structure of a neuron, which is having a major part, which is composed of the cell bodies, dendrites, as well as an elongated one called as an axon. The cell bodies are called as a cyton, which is spherical in shape, which is composed of an cytoplasm along with that of a nucleus. The cell body itself is composed of an granules called as Nissls granules, and the projections from the cyton, or we can say the short mature branches, are called as dendrites. With the help of a dendrite, it receives the impulses towards the cyton, whereas the impulses transmit from an cyton to with the help of an elongated one called as an axon. And naturally axon itself, which is covered with the help of an covering in the form of an medullated sheath, or it's also called as a medullary sheath. And the cells which are present here in the axons, naturally those are called as Schwann cells. The gap between the Schwann cells are called as a node of Ranvier. At the end of this axon, or a neuron itself, has been termed as an axon terminal, or it's also called as a synaptic knob or a synaptic button. We know that there is the presence of an dendrites of several along with that of an only single axon. Hence, example given for this one is an cerebellar cortex, which comes under the multipolar. If there is a presence of a single dendrite along with that of a single axon, hence it comes under the bipolar. Example given for this one is eye of retina. That is the cell body along with that of an axon, single one without dendrites, hence those are called as an unipolar. Such can be seen in case of an embryonic stages. So this is concerned with that of an structural and functional unit of an entire brain called as a neuron. The entire brain, as we know that it is a creamish, largest as well as made up of 100 billions together of a neuron. It has been divided into three parts like forebrain, midbrain as well as a hindbrain. Forebrain is composed of the largest part of the brain called as cerebrum. The second largest part of the brain is called as a cerebellum, which comes under the forebrain is cerebrum, optic lobes, diencephalon. Diencephalon is again composed of thalamus and hypothalamus. We know that cerebrum is the first largest part of the brain. Brain itself, on the surface we can see numerous foldings, or those foldings are called as gyres, or it is also called as convulsion. In between the gyres we can see the deeper grooves, hence those deeper grooves are called as fissuries, and the shallow grooves which is found between the fissuries are called as a shallow grooves. So altogether, the entire brain, which has been divided into right as well as left cerebral hemisphere, each hemisphere, again it is made up of four lobes like frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe and occipital lobe. And it is present in case of an right as well as an left cerebral hemisphere. So the function of N cerebrum is that it is going to be held responsible for controlling and all sensory information for learning, thinking, crying, weeping, laughing, as well as the sweet memories of those days. Everything has been dumped or stored in case of an largest part called as cerebrum. The second part is called as an optic lobes. This optic lobe is made up of optic bulb as well as an optic duct. Together forms an optic lobes. Its function is that it is going to be helpful for sense of smelling. Naturally, it is well developed in case of an animals rather than that of an human beings. Diencephalon, we know it is the smallest part of a brain. Naturally, it is composed of an thalamus and hypothalamus, which has been located in case of an third ventricles between, we can say, on either side of the third ventricle, we can see there is a presence of thalamus, whereas on either side of the third ventricle, we can see hypothalamus as it has been located below the thalamus, hence has been termed it as an hypothalamus. It is present at on either side as well as an fluid of the third ventricle. Hence we can say thalamus is held responsible for relay center, whereas hypothalamus is held responsible for controlling or regulating and hunger, thirst, as well as sexual behavior, and also it controls the behavior. So naturally we know that this is the function of the entire forebrain. Whereas in the midbrain, which is composed of an optic lobes as well as an cerebral peduncle. Optic lobes, which is a larger lobes which are paired as well as an oval in shape, divided into superior as well as an inferior caliculus. Together forms the optic lobes. Its function is going to be helpful for hearing as well as that is auditory as well as we can say hearing, or it's also responsible for the sake of vision. So cerebral peduncle as it is present in case of a midbrain, it is held responsible for connecting for the forebrain as well as an hindbrain. So this is meant for connection, and moreover it has been connected with the help of bundle of nerve fibers which has been present in case of an cerebral peduncle. Whereas in case of an hindbrain, it is made up of the second largest part of the brain. Hence we can say this is an cerebellum which is held responsible for controlling and coordinating a body equilibrium. So naturally which comes under the hindbrain, and pons viruli, which is held responsible for connecting the entire brain with that of spinal cord with the help of bundle of nerve fibers. And medulla oblongata, naturally it is present at the posterior part of the brain, we can say. And naturally we know that it is made up of an central canal. It begins from a medulla oblongata, it runs throughout the spinal cord. And moreover, the function of a medulla oblongata is that it is held responsible for controlling heartbeat as well as respiration, vomiting, sneezing as well as coughing, which is held responsible for controlling involuntary muscles. So altogether, entire brain is made up of four ventricles. The first two ventricles are present in case of cerebrum. Third ventricle is present in case of diencephalon between the thalamus and hypothalamus. Fourth ventricle is present in case of medulla oblongata. This is regarding concern with that of human brain.